Hello, welcome to Mama Sue's Kitchen. I hope you're doing well today, and it's just so great to be able to cook again and show you recipes that I've tried and even some that I haven't tried before. But I had one of my followers send a message asking if I had ever made a fruit cocktail cake. And I had, but it's been many years, and I had to look up my recipe. But I can remember my mother making it, and I've made it, and it's good and it's easy. So that's what we're making today. You start out with a cup and a half of white sugar. There's 1 cup and a half. All right, I'm going to put this back here. And then we're going to do 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay, there's 1. And there's 2. Okay, I'm going to get my whisk and just whisk that together. You don't have to, but I'm doing it. Okay, now to that, I'm going to add 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons of baking soda. There's 1, 2, 3/4 teaspoon of salt. All right, 2 teaspoons of vanilla flavoring. 1, 2, and calls for a 16-ounce can of fruit cocktail. I thought I had fruit cocktail, but what I had was a 30-ounce can. So I measured out 16 ounces. And what I'll do with the other is put them in a container and eat it later just for a snack. But it's sugar, flour, eggs, vanilla, baking soda, salt, and fruit cocktail. Now, I'm just going to mix this together. I don't use my KitchenAid for things that I can just do real quick, and I use my hand pill mixer for that. I'll tell you a funny. When I was sick, I couldn't stand to smell food cooking or anything, but I had Harold fixed a lot of food, and we would go and pick up things, but for some reason he was going to use my hand mixer, and the only thing I can think of was he could have been doing cream potatoes. That's the only thing that I've been able to think of. This is a 9 by 13 pan, and I would have put it in a glass Pyrex, but I have several of those that I have sent food and haven't gotten them back yet, but I will. But anyway, back to Harold. When I got well and was ready to cook, I couldn't find the beaters that go on my mixer. And he had told me, many times when he was cleaning the kitchen and everything, he said, Sue, it's going to take you a while to find your things because I don't know where you put them. Well, we looked. Let me put this in the oven. I'm going to put it, let's see what the recipe says. 350 degrees, and I have already preheated the oven. And I'm going to bake for 40 to 45 minutes. And you know, I've told you I always start off with the least amount of time. So we're setting it to 40 minutes. But anyway, we both started looking. We looked in where I normally kept them. We looked in the utensil drawer. We looked in my little crock. We couldn't find it. He said, I know I didn't throw them away. Well, finally, he found them behind the area that I normally keep my mixer. He said, I don't think I threw it in there. But it's funny how sometimes you don't know where things are. You look, and the older I get, the worse it is. But I have the fruit cocktail cake baking, and I'll be back in a little bit, and we're going to make the frosting, which is the best part to me. But I'll be back soon. Okay, the cake was in the oven 40 minutes, and I just took it out, and I have put a half a cup of brown sugar, 1 whole cup of white sugar, and a stick of butter, and a cup of evaporated milk. That's like pet milk, Carnation. It's not the condensed, it's evaporated milk. All right, I'm going to bring that to a boil, and then when it comes to a boil, I'm going to cook it for like 2 minutes and add 3/4 cup of chopped pecans, and I use Whaley's pecans because you can get them in assorted sizes, and see, I didn't have to chop these. And 1.5 cups of shredded coconut. I've got to put my teaspoon of vanilla in here also. Just about forgot that. That's why I put the stuff out, because if it's not out for me to see, I just might forget it. But I was telling Harold while the cake was baking, he said he didn't really remember this cake. I hadn't made it in so long. But I told him that the frosting reminds me, it's not the German chocolate, coconut frosting, but I think it sort of reminds me of it because of the coconut and the pecans. But when the lady sent a message, she said, my mom used to make a fruit cocktail cake, and it had like a butter glaze over it. Well, that's what this is going to be. I think this is the one she's talking about because it has the butter and, of course, the evaporated milk and sugars and all. But I get my recipe because I hadn't made it in a while. Bring to a boil. Continue to boil for 2 minutes. That's right. You have to stir it while it's boiling, because it will stick. And I've got my stove temperature about on 7. It's not on high. You don't want to cook it on high because it will stick for sure. Monday, let's see. I was trying to think what. Next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, I go back to the oncologist and we will start, I'll find out when we start the next step. And I've already been told that I will have to take 6 of the Herceptin and Perjeta. But, you know, he said compared to what I was taking, it's going to be real easy. So I'm not dreading it. I wish I didn't have to do anything else. But you know, you'll do what you think needs to be done. It's just a blessing that this was found. And ladies, while I'm waiting for this to boil, I'm going to tell you, if you haven't had a mammogram in a year, please make an appointment and get one. I really do think that is one thing that maybe saved my life, because it was exactly a year since my last one. And the place was very small, but I had the type that was aggressive. So if I had waited until I felt something, I'm afraid it might have been too bad. Hasn't started boiling yet, and I don't want to waste your time, so I'm going to ask Harold if he'll just stop this, and then we'll start it back when it's boiled for 2 minutes. Okay, it's got 8, 7, 6 seconds left. I went ahead and added the pecans and coconut and boiled it for 2 minutes, and then you pour it over your cake while it's still warm. And y'all, this is delicious. It's like a glaze more. I'm gonna try to spread that where it'll be kind of even. Now y'all, I can't cut this cake because it's so hot right now. But I'm going to pause it, and when I do cut it, I'll be back. Okay, the cake cooled. It's still warm, but it cooled enough that I cut a piece out. And that's what it looks like. Y'all, this cake is good. It's moist, easy to do. I hope you'll try it, but the person who wanted to know about the fruit cocktail cake, I hope this is the recipe like you remembered. I've enjoyed making this cake today, and Harold's going to eat this piece in a little bit, and I just want to remind you to be salt and light. Read Matthew 5:13 through 16. I'll be back soon.